the Hericium coralloides, the coraltooth mushroom. This mushroom happens to be one of my favorite. And you're looking to grow the perfect one, huh? Well, I'll tell you what, you guys came to the right spot. We're going to cover that and a whole lot more today. Let's get it. What's up, everyone? Mike here. I've got an awesome video for you guys today. So today's video is how to grow the perfect coral tooth mushroom, the Hericium coralloides. I've really been looking forward to making this video. This mushroom is one of my favorite mushrooms to grow. I've been growing gourmet mushrooms for nearly a decade, and I've grown thousands of pounds of Hericium mushrooms. So I've got a lot of information I can share with you, and I'm going to tell you guys everything I know today. Let's get it. Okay, so first let's talk about what the coraltooth mushroom actually is. So it is part of the Hericium genus. It is a cousin to the lion's mane mushroom. I will show it paired with some lion's mane mushrooms just so you can see them both together and see the differences. But the Hericium is a very bright white mushroom. It has this coral-like appearance and this sweet crab meat-like flavor. Now that we know some basics about the Hericium coralloides, let's explore this mushroom in the grow room. Now here's some lion's mane with it, and there it is. There's the Hericium coralloides. You can see it's got a coral-like structure. It's a very bright white mushroom. It's extremely eye-catching. So let's go over the growing conditions. What does it actually take to grow the perfect Hericium coralloides? All right, cool mushrooms, huh? So let's talk about the growing conditions. What's it gonna really take to grow the perfect Hericium coralloides? First, let's start with the temperature aspect. That's pretty easy. So here in this photo, there's actually three Hericiums. Hericium coralloides in the middle there, Americanum to the right, and Erinaceus underneath. They all grow well together. They all have a fairly wide temperature range and perform well between about 60 to 70 degrees. That is the Goldilocks zone, but the temperature range can be as wide as almost 60 to 85 degrees. But you can see the coral tooth has these small coral little intricacies to it. So to have a beautiful looking coral tooth like we have pictured right here, you do have to maintain proper temperature and keep it in that Goldilocks zone of temperature, and then you'll have some amazing looking coral tooth. Now, let's talk about the humidity aspect a little bit of this mushroom. All right, you want 60 to 70 degrees to grow the perfect coral tooth mushroom. So now let's hit on that humidity aspect a little bit. What does the humidity level need to be? I want to say it is identical to the lion's mane if you guys are growing a Hericium Erinaceus. And if you have not seen my recommendations for that, I did a video on how to grow the perfect lion's mane mushroom, and it's really good. I'm going to link that in the description box below so you guys can all refer to that and check that out, because that's a really good video as well if you haven't seen it. But the proper humidity range for the coral tooth mushroom is 85% to 90% humidity. If you maintain that range of humidity, you will grow the best coral tooth mushrooms over and over again. Now, I want to say it must stay within that range to provide the best results, in my opinion, because you can see the intricacies of its coral-like structure, and it just has that really fine tooth-like appearance. Those teeth will tend to brown and yellow and dry out if there's too much air blowing on them or if they're just not getting enough humidity. So make sure we're staying within that range of 85 to 90% relative humidity. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel and keeps content like this coming your way. Now back to the coral tooth mushroom. Look at those things. Absolutely freaking cool photo. Now, as cool as this photo looks, we need to talk about the airflow. So we're going to cover that right now because this could create some issues with airflow, even though it looks really cool. Okay, so cool photo. All those coral tooth mushrooms stacked up. I just want to say, even though I had all those mushrooms stacked up and it does make for a cool photo, it may not necessarily be the best way to do that. I did that because I'm an experienced grower and I wanted to take a cool picture. Now, you could potentially have airflow problems if you stack them like that. So you want to place them side by side. So here, let's take a look at another photo of some side by side and see how you really should arrange a shelf. Okay, so for reliability's sake, that shelf of coral tooth you're looking at right there, that's the best way to set them up. Not stacked too much, just side by side, and look at them, man. They just reach their full potential, growing nice and big there. Absolute perfect specimens. Okay, so that's pretty simple as far as overcrowding is concerned. Now, let's talk about the air circulation throughout the room and actually maintaining the proper CO2 level. So, your air circulation throughout the room, you do want air circulating throughout that room, good amount of it, but you do not want direct airflow on the mushroom. Just because of the intricacies of the coral tooth mushroom structure and its spines, you don't want direct airflow blowing on that because you could potentially dry that mushroom out. One thing I want to say, as far as keeping your proper CO2 level in that room, all my rooms are automated. My humidity and my airflow is completely automated. So, as far as what I do with my airflow, I just size the appropriately sized blower for the room. I pick out the right size for exhaust and I pick out ones for intake. For the intake, I actually do two, like for a 200 square foot grow room, for example, I do two intake fans. I actually do one pulling from the atmosphere, true fresh outside air, and then I do one pulling from a preconditioning or a lung room within my building that I'm growing in. Now, my exhaust, I just have one appropriately sized exhaust blower venting out. And I will do a specific video just on grow room ventilation. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that so that way you see that video when that comes up. But anyway, that's it for maintaining proper CO2 levels. Now let's get on to the lighting aspect of this mushroom. Okay, so the lighting for these mushrooms is very simple. You want a 5000K spectrum white light. I use 5000K LED white lights in my grow room, and that is the perfect growing spectrum for coral tooth mushrooms and all mushrooms. All right, everyone, so 5000K LED white lights, that is my choice and recommendation for the lighting to grow the perfect coral tooth mushroom. Now, so far in this video, we've covered temperature, humidity, airflow, and lighting. Now I want to talk to you guys about a few tips and tricks I know when it comes to harvesting, knowing when to pick this mushroom, and also a few answers to a few other questions you may have concerning growing the perfect coral tooth mushroom. So when do I pick this mushroom? Take a look at those coral tooth on the bottom there. You could harvest this mushroom right now, but actually there's about a day or two of growth left to happen for this mushroom. It might be slightly early to pick this one. Now, let's take a look at this photo. That one on the left there, it is time to pick. That one on the right, you can see there's a little bit of yellowing on the top. It is definitely time to pick. That is an indicator you must pick. This one is still okay, but you must pick right now. Okay, now looking at these coral tooth, these are perfect specimens. No yellowing, pure white. Right now, you should pick. Everything is perfect right now. It's fully grown. Pick the mushroom. Okay, cool. So you can tell you want that mushroom to maintain a pure white appearance the entire time it's growing up until when you harvest it. You don't want it to display any signs of yellowing. If you do see slight yellowing, it's not a big problem, but you want to snatch it right away because the coral tooth is just really sensitive. When it reaches full maturity, it will begin to yellow and its shelf life decreases dramatically if you let it go too far. So really pay attention to that. Now, I want to say, how long does this mushroom actually take to reach maturity after you slice that bag open? Honestly, about 10 to 14 days. Keep an eye on it in that zone somewhere. It should be reaching full size and be ready to harvest. Now, on to a few other grower questions you may have. What is the required incubation period for the coral tooth mushroom? I recommend anywhere from 14 to 21 days of incubation before placing the coral tooth mushroom block into your grow room. Can I grow the coral tooth with other mushrooms? The answer is yes. The coral tooth grows great with all other mushrooms. Here it is in a grow room with other oyster mushrooms and lion's mane mushrooms. Now, you may be wondering, how does this mushroom taste? The coral tooth tastes just like crab meat. It's got this sweet, mild flavor of crab meat, and it makes the perfect seafood replacement in any dish if you're trying to mimic crab meat. It's a wonderful mushroom to eat. As you can see, the coral tooth looks good in mix boxes alongside other mushrooms. Now, what's the shelf life of this mushroom? How long will it last under refrigeration? The coral tooth will last about 10 days under refrigeration and maintain freshness. Now, how big does this mushroom get? The answer is really big. So if you're growing for volume, this is a good mushroom for you. Now, if you're growing for weight, this is also a good mushroom. So on average, you can expect anywhere from about 2.5 pounds to 3 pounds on a 10-pound substrate block of coral tooth mushroom. This one right here was almost 3.5 pounds. You can get close to 4 pounds on coral tooth if you're lucky. All right, guys, so there it was, how to grow the perfect coral tooth mushroom. Now, I want you guys all to remember, it is my personal mission as a farmer and a content creator. When I'm making these videos, I want to provide the absolute best mushroom growing information possible so I can help you guys succeed and grow some of the best mushrooms you can. So if you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comment section below, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, found it helpful and informative, and I will catch you on the next one.